Yeah, sorry. I don't think this mobile microphone is working at all by the...
Okay, and just to say, this particular pitch is more individual clients maybe than towards businesses, but anyway, it gives you an idea of what we do. You know, when you would like to tackle a DIY building or home improvement project, or you have an interest in natural building and you'd love to self-build your own home, but you don't think you have enough practical skills or knowledge of the planning process or building regulations, and it all seems really daunting. Well, what we do is run courses in natural building, covering everything from building with mud to constructing your own timber frame wall or roof. We will be available to offer guidance and advice when you return home to take on your project. We can even come to you and get you over the hump when you get stuck, which means that you can have the confidence and the backup to tackle the project you've always dreamed of doing.
Hey, excellent.
Again, mudandwood.com if anyone's interested in doing some natural building courses. They're running all summer.
That's okay. You still had, I was going to say 45 seconds, so that takes it up to about 50, 55 seconds. Somebody over there is willing to do... The man in the... Yes, you. Do you want to take the microphone?
Hello.
Just before you start, one thing I was going to say, people think that 60 seconds is quite a short time. And actually you did it in 45 seconds. And your inclination was to rush it. And actually just take it slowly and give people time to take in what you've got to say. Actually, elevator pitches are better if they're even shorter. 60 seconds is actually a bit long. But go for 60 seconds. Off you go now.
Hello. Did you know that all of our septic tanks are failing to perform and people fearing to spend thousands to convert them? We can provide you with a remedial solution. The device that we will set up will cost you only €60 and installation might be a few hundred depending on the location. This means that you will create a healthy drain field, prevent water pollution and comply with proven APA standards. That's it.
30 seconds. Very short. I'm not sure what you do.
Well, this is actually for my client. I work as a product designer and I help companies out with whatever problem they have to design specific components to make the system work.
Right. I think you need to add that in the, well, what we do is, because I didn't quite get... Yes? Okay. So it's, think about what they are, then what we do, straightforward, practical, but clarity.
I think this patch was actually kind of from the point of view of my client.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, you know, just...
We're EcoScan and we're in Sligo and we do environmental friendly product design.
Okay, you needed your 45 minutes to get there. Any other person feeling like sharing an elevator? There's a picture of a person down here who's willing to share their elevator pitch.
So I read this now rather than just deliver it?
Yeah, just read it. It's fine. Ah.
Okay, can you hear me? Yep. Okay. You know, when you're having difficulties, this is pitched at a business rather than at creatives. It also applies across the creative spectrum as well. You know, when you're having difficulties communicating with your staff and possibly with your clients, organising your time, your work schedules and your resources, maybe implementing plans and other goals that you have set for yourself, well then what we do is Brain Gym. Brain Gym is a set of simple activities that we teach you to use in the workplace and in your life, and these help to improve your internal connections, and as a consequence of using these you are able to communicate more easily, organise, understand the big picture, not just focus on the detail but get the big picture as well, and you're able to see what the other person is doing so you get better perspective. This means that at the end of the day you go home calm, relaxed and comfortable, and you're in a positive frame of mind, you're energised, you're clear in your head, and you're able to go on and live your life. Thanks to Brain Gym.
60 seconds, well done. Thank you very much indeed. So it's one of those things that practice. Try on other people to do it. In terms of when you did yours and got feedback, what was the typical things that somebody gave information back to you? What were the things that you found that you were going to have to change about your
Sorry. I spoke then 30 seconds after that, and I was told that was far better than what I had done.
I think you're absolutely right, because you heard people go, actually, I need to add this. So I think practice at it. I mean, I think it's a brilliant opportunity because you're a network, you need to get to know each other, so you can all practice your elevator pitches on each other and get to know everybody and keep trying it out on somebody you don't know, which will mean that you get to know yet more people and your businesses will spread. So it's been a fairly squeezed, brief thing, but I hope that this tool will help you think about it. You don't have to stick to the words, but please stick to the sentiment. As a question, sorry.
It's not a question, but just to say, it seemed like a sneaky one, but you could just say, I'd like to practice, and then land it on them.
Yes, you could. Why not inadvertently get them? And then I've always wondered whether anybody has ever stepped into a lift and seen somebody they want to work with and tried to do one or not, whether it's just that. My client of mine, trying to hone their skills, they had an away day and they actually got the staff in the lift. They had great fun. They were at a hotel for an away day and they literally got in the lift and practiced their elevator speeches. So really good fun here.
Here?
Yeah.
Good morning. My project is called QRVO, which sounds like it's a disease. In fact, it's quick response voiceover. And its humblest application is you can transform your business card to a talking business card. The front of your business card will have your primary contact details, your name, address, email address, website address. The back of the card will have a QRVO code, which is a quick response voiceover that can contain product details, your company profile, or whatever, with the voiceover. So besides being an information hub, it also encourages people to retain your business card rather than just throw it in the back of the car or whatever. That's it.
Thank you very much. There's 30 seconds. Great, thank you. Remember, you need the bit at the beginning, which gets in my head and gets me to think about the situation that I'm going to have the product or service that you're talking about. So try and get them to imagine being there first. You'll get them much better if you set the scene. And you had a lot about what you do, and then a little bit about what it means. Now, we all find that what we do easy. It's the bit at the beginning and the end where you're going to actually hook into that person and really get them to buy your services and to understand what you do. So I can say, pitch. I've got 5 minutes, and I'm just going to run through because having worked with businesses so often, and with the questions about working with business, now this is a whole other hour or even 3 hours, but I just wanted to get across to you that when you're working with the businesses, if you get that opportunity, use your business skills, whatever skill, the skills that you know, to actually really think through their problems. Don't just accept that they've got a problem that they present with. You've got to question and challenge them. It may not be the underlying issue. And it's really important for the success of these projects. Don't just carry on doing a project that really, they don't need you, they need somebody else. You can draw in other people to do that. But it's your duty, I always feel as an advisor that it's my duty to challenge and actually question things. Do not make assumptions. Do not assume that you know about a business. Do not assume that you automatically have the answer to their problem or no. Actually make sure that you listen to them and really understand what it is that they're trying to do. Use your project management skills and the brief that Ian was talking about. I have my one-page brief. Actually getting the discipline of writing a brief, getting it really clear, and that thing about putting it in writing. He said it has to be in writing. If you talk about something and they talk about something, you might think you all mean the same thing. So often I found out that that things go wrong in a project because people didn't really actually have a common understanding. And that brief is a clear way of doing that. If it's in writing, you can both sit down and disagree or agree about it. So it's really important that in concrete terms you get something, or a drawing, anything that's actually, rather than up in your head and the things that you're talking about. Time and budget matter. In project management, there are 3 legs: the brief, the time, and the budget. Always one thing goes. It's very difficult to manage all 3. And clients tend to want to hold on to their budget. You've probably got a fixed budget. The brief, to me, is the most important thing. Sometimes it's going to take longer, although you've only got 8 weeks, haven't you? But you have these skills when you're doing any project. Do apply it with the business. And I said about common understanding. Constantly feed back to the client and verify that your understanding of it is the same as their understanding, and make sure they agree before you go on to anything else. And it may not be true in other businesses, but one of the things that designers to me get carried away, they really want to do the very best thing, they totally over deliver, and often I've seen designers commit finances or commit to costs on their client's behalf before they've agreed it with the client. It's all done in the best of intentions, but the biggest thing that I say is always go back to the client, and before you incur any costs, be very clear that this is what's going to be done and this is going to be the cost. So go through that process, feed back to them your understanding, get them to verify it's the right thing, and make sure you agree before you do things. And collaborate with them. This is such an opportunity. Really get to understand their business before you launch into whatever you're going to be doing with them. So that was just a very short run over 15 years of experience to try and share something with you. So lastly, it's really, oh, I did put that in, sorry, on my list, I hadn't got it. I have a lovely thing from a book on strategy, and they weren't anything to do with design. But in terms of communicating to somebody and an identity, I saw it as, but equally communicating, that he saw ethos, which is going back to the Greek, as a way of carrying oneself that was consistent enough to contribute to the community. And by that, it means you've got to be able to relate to your customer. You've got to be able to relate them. So you've got to have something about you that they're able to understand, and different enough to enable others to recognise you and think you exemplary in your difference. So you've got to be sufficiently understandable to that business, but also you've got to show how you're different, and that difference has to be valued. It's no good being something very different, I don't know, completely off the wall, if that business isn't going to value it. And I thought it was a lovely description. Then lastly, what I thought was coming next was questions or concerns. So is there any questions you've got that you want to ask me from my experience, or have I completely bamboozled you now? No, we're okay then. So, Ifa or Mary, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sally. Thank you very much to all of our presenters this morning. It's been a long session. We were very anxious and keen to give you the best knowledge available to us, to make the session both informative and very practical from your perspective in terms of how you can participate in the programme. Hopefully, to some degree, we've achieved that. Hopefully also you have a better insight into the 4CNW programme. That'll come over time. Don't worry if you don't get it all today. It's taken us on the project team a long time to fully understand it, and we're getting deeper insights as it's rolled out. So it is a test phase. I would encourage you to engage with it. I would encourage you to go away and register. It's fantastic and really heartening for us on the project team. We put a lot of effort and work into today's event. It's just so fantastic that so many creative businesses from across the Northwest region took the time and the trouble to attend. It's just fantastic when you see people physically in front of you, having travelled from Donegal, Mayo, Leitrim, Roscommon. One of the things that's very important in this project is we have a huge pool of talent in the Northwest region. We really want to use this programme and use this process to leverage that talent for economic renewal and growth, to highlight, as I said in my introduction, the importance of creative work to economic growth and to economic regeneration and renewal. I want to really thank you for your attention. You've been very attentive. We had to run it all through and couldn't have breaks because Judy and Ian are already gone and on a plane. Sally's about to go. So if you have any further questions, the team are going to stay in the auditorium here Feel free to come up and talk to us about anything you want further information on or clarification. And if there were creative businesses that you know who couldn't come today, please direct them to the website. Registration is open from today, is ongoing, but if you want to be eligible for the first round of vouchers, which will be awarded in September, you need to be registered by the end of July. So spread the word, get involved. Thank you really very, very much for travelling and for your attention. You've been great. Well done.